Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Gold Rush. Kevin Beets forgets what made his dad successful. This season of Gold Rush has brought a new level of controversy to the mining operations. While last season saw a lot of inexperienced miners struggling, this season it is the most experienced who is seeing problems arise. Tony Beets, normally the most solid miner on the show, is seeing family problems bring his production to a halt, and many fans are blaming Kevin Beets. Here's what Kevin Beets is doing now on Gold Rush and why it is causing problems. Kevin Beets returns to Gold Rush, but he is not happy. When the new season of Gold Rush began on Discovery Channel, Tony Beets was ready to get his operations started. However, Kevin Beets had not shown up for work yet. Tony seemed surprised when he finally contacted his son, and Kevin said he was staying home this season. Tony put his daughter Monica in charge of Kevin's old position and moved on, but he was not happy with his son. The problem is that Monica didn't connect well with Tony Beets in her new position. Tony is making less than he has in a long time, and Parker Schnibel is distancing himself from Tony when it comes to the total gold mine. Parker even refused to come in and help Tony. When Monica had a breakdown after Tony lost his temper when she wasn't doing exactly what he wanted, things got even worse. Then the word came that Kevin Beets was coming back. Fans hoped he could help Tony straighten things out. However, the way Kevin no-showed at the start of the season caused a dent in their relationship. With Tony making Monica not want to be in charge anymore, Kevin returned but then left just as quickly when he realized his dad was still running things with an iron fist. Fans feel Kevin Beets not respecting his dad. There are two lines of thinking ever since Kevin Beets showed back up and then left again. One group of fans feels that Tony Beets has promised his kids he would soon turn things over to them, but he can't let them do things the way they feel is the best. The other group feels that Tony became rich because of how he runs his business, and Kevin ignores that fact. Last July, Kevin posted a photo of all the Volvos on site. This was before he decided to duck out on this season. Now that he has returned and left again, fans are moving on to that old post to bash Kevin for turning on his family's business. There's a lot of complaints from Kevin, and I think he's forgetting where dinner and money comes from. It's a shame he acts like this is an easy game his family is playing. At the end of the day, Tony is the only one who has enough balls to run that business. To leave the family business hanging was the worst thing from the eldest son to do. In the heart of the Klondike, where the earth bore the promise of wealth and the skies whispered tales of fortune, Kevin Beets stood atop a rugged hill, overlooking the vast expanse of his family's mining operation. His gaze drifted over the bustling camp below, where miners toiled under the watchful eye of towering machines, and the glint of gold danced in the sunlight. Kevin's father, Tony Beets, had built this empire from the dust of dreams and the sweat of determination. Tony was a legend in these parts, a man whose name was synonymous with success and whose methods were as bold as they were effective. But as Kevin surveyed the scene before him, a shadow of doubt crept into his mind. The Beets mining company was booming. There was no denying that. Their dredges churned day and night, extracting gold from the depths of the earth with relentless efficiency. But something was amiss, something that gnawed at Kevin's conscience like a persistent whisper in the wind. He remembered his father's words, spoken with the authority of a man who had seen it all and conquered even more. "In this business, you gotta have grit," Tony would say, his voice roughened by years of hard labor. "You gotta be willing to take risks, to push the boundaries, to do whatever it takes to strike it rich." But as Kevin watched the machines tear through the earth below, he couldn't shake the feeling that they had lost sight of what had made his father truly successful. It wasn't just about extracting gold, it was about passion, about connection to the land, about understanding the subtle rhythms of nature that governed this untamed wilderness. With a heavy heart, Kevin descended from the hill and made his way through the bustling camp, his footsteps echoing against the din of machinery. Miners nodded in acknowledgement as he passed, their faces streaked with sweat and grime, their eyes reflecting a mixture of exhaustion and determination. As he reached the heart of the operation, Kevin found himself standing before the largest dredge in their fleet, a hulking behemoth of steel and gears that seemed to devour the earth with insatiable hunger. But instead of feeling pride at the sight of their impressive machinery, Kevin felt a sense of unease. He remembered the stories his father had told him of the days when they had started out with nothing but a dream and a determination to succeed. Tony had never been afraid to get his hands dirty, to work alongside his men and lead by example. But as Kevin looked around him now, he saw a different picture. The miners worked tirelessly, their movements mechanical and their spirits subdued. There was no joy in their labor, no sense of camaraderie or shared purpose. They were cogs in a machine, expendable assets in the relentless pursuit of profit. With a heavy sigh, Kevin turned away from the dredge and made his way to his father's office, a modest cabin nestled on the outskirts of the camp. He found Tony poring over a stack of paperwork, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Hey, Dad," Kevin said quietly, stepping into the room. Tony looked up, his expression softening at the sight of his son. "Kevin, what brings you here?" he asked, setting aside his work. Kevin hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to articulate the doubts that had been swirling in his mind. "I've been thinking," he began slowly, choosing his words with care. "About the way we do things around here, I mean." Tony raised an eyebrow, his gaze searching Kevin's face for clues. "Go on," he prompted, his voice gentle but probing. I wonder if we've lost sight of what made us successful in the first place," Kevin admitted, his words tumbling out in a rush. "It's not just about the gold, Dad. It's about the land, about respecting it and working with it, not against it." Tony regarded his son thoughtfully, his expression unreadable. "You think I've forgotten that?" he asked quietly. Kevin shook his head quickly. "No, of course not, Dad. But things are different now. We're bigger, more impersonal. I worry that we've lost touch with what really matters." For a long moment, father and son sat in silence, the weight of Kevin's words hanging heavy in the air between them. Then, to Kevin's surprise, Tony let out a deep sigh and leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his grizzled beard. "You're right, Kevin," he admitted, his voice tinged with regret. "I've been so focused on growing the business, on squeezing every last ounce of gold from the ground, that I forgot why we started doing this in the first place." Kevin felt a surge of relief flood through him, mingled with a newfound sense of hope. Maybe it wasn't too late to rediscover what had made the Beets mining company great, to return to the values that had guided them from the beginning. Together, father and son embarked on a journey of rediscovery, reaching out to the miners and listening to their concerns, exploring new ways of working that respected both the land and the people who depended on it. They scaled back the operations of the massive dredges, focusing instead on smaller-scale, more sustainable mining techniques that minimize their impact on the environment. It wasn't easy, and there were many challenges along the way. But with each passing day, Kevin felt a renewed sense of purpose, a rekindling of the passion that had driven his father to succeed against all odds. And as the gold continued to flow, he knew that they had found something far more valuable than mere wealth. They had found their way back to what truly mattered.